right. We got everybody joining in. Thank you guys so much for being here. It is that time of the month for another edition of That Was Extreme, the post show here on Zoom, ready for all of your guys' Q&A. And we have the questions already hitting the feed. So without further ado, it is my privilege, my honor to introduce to you the three headliners, the showstoppers, the main event of That Was Extreme. We have Josh Shernoff, the Blue Meanie, and Joel Gertner. Welcome, guys. How are you?
I've got a question. I've got a question.
Let's hear it.
In 6 short months from January till June, and I'm not a creature that craves consistency by any means, but in 6 short months from January till June, we have gone from having a host in Lauren Y, who I never complained about. Then she gets switched out. We make the move to Paul Bromwell. And now I notice, believe it or not, with our June installment, the host is Excalibur. I have no idea what's going on. Nobody buzzed me. I've been left in the lurch. I haven't been iggy'd. Nobody's given me a memo. Nothing. What's going on? What say you, Excalibur?
Oh, well, here we are, and hopefully no one gets a tope suicida this evening. Listen, man, what craziness. We just jump in for a quick pick with Tony, and we're like, oh, let's go behind the booth. Evan Polisher, yes, I blame you, tweets something out about Excalibur, and then the internet takes over. And I have people now telling me that this guy needs to put the mask back on. Hey, you know what? Fuck you, buddy. All right, so here we go. Hey guys, listen, this has been awesome. Hey, so I obviously am not in my regular office situation, but this morning
I got replica belts.
Yeah, all these replica belts and the faux wood setup and everything. It turned out pretty nice, but I'm happy to be here with you guys tonight.
Yeah, we're happy to be here with you.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. I mean, it's always good to be a part of the Ad-Free Shows family, and looking forward to seeing what we talk about.
Hey, can I give a quick shout out to Michael Amend? There?
Oh, absolutely.
Rocking the podcod. Yeah, that's
next.
Fish I was, yeah. The oh man. The podcast faces, That Was Extreme Faces t-shirt. Love it, man.
Thank you, brother.
And hey, Joel actually grew the beard to match the shirt.
Listen, guys, my goal for this monthly is to have all of us supporting That Was Extreme, man. So I'm in on it too, and I want everybody here to go out and get that shirt. That way, when we're all here every month, it's the army. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Paul wearing the That Was Extreme shirt as well. That's awesome.
That's right.
I'm so thrown off by your background.
I love it.
Can you wear that shirt on Dynamite next week?
Yeah, right. I can with my mask, if that's okay. Maybe I'll get a black and red one so that it looks good. But yeah.
Nice.
Well, hey, listen, guys, this was a big episode this week. A different style episode. It was a little heavier of a topic, right? With the passing of New Jack and you guys doing a great job really talking through his career and honoring him, especially the ending of the show when you were all sharing some personal moments and stories. It was just a really good, well done show. So I want to congratulate you on that. But with that, I want to also make sure we give all the guys plenty of time to ask questions. So if it's okay with you, let's head over to the group chat and get this going.
Yep.
Let's rock.
All right. Anthony Pyers, you're on with the
Joel, I'm going to agree with you. Lauren is so much easier on the eyes than Paulie Bromwell. It's horrifying. Hey, I had 2 things to say tonight. Of course, with New Jack, it always goes down to the mass transit incident. You guys, I have a little slightly different perspective because I kind of sort of knew bits and pieces of the family prior to the incident. You had said maybe it was ignorance on the part of the father not knowing what he was in. I can tell you, allegedly, so no one gets in trouble, the dad knew exactly what the hell the kid was getting into that night. Made me sick to hear about it. When I heard about it originally back in '96, I knew exactly. It didn't surprise me at all. So just a little add-on. But I want to ask you guys. This seemed to be a really difficult episode for you guys because you had to get not past, but you had to understand the violence that this man inflicted on wrestling. But you guys all seem to love him so much. Can you tell me some stories about his kindness? I know the knock on New Jack was he was this crazy man, blah blah blah. And I just want to hear some good stories about the guy. Period. You know, just how good a guy really was he?
Dude, like I got along great with New Jack because he was a lot like guys I grew up with. I grew up in Atlantic City, and there's dudes I went to high school and grade school that were just like Jack. So like when I was talking to Jack, it was like I was talking to one of my buddies from back down the shore, you know, and you know, we hit it off. And Jack is great. And I say the same thing about Sandman. It's all in the approach. You know, people say the same thing about Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon will talk to you if you approach him and come, you know, have a conversation with him. But once you confront Vince McMahon, that's when the nostrils flare. And, you know, Jack's the same way, you know, it's all about the approach. But, oh, plenty of good stories, man. I mean, like
just one about his kindness, if he was so kind.
Well, I don't know if I said this on the episode where, like, you know, I was down and out over a relationship that ended badly, and that person kept coming up to the shows, and he saw how it affected me, and, you know, me being his friend, he was like, you know, fuck that bitch. He was like, Meanie, if you worked at 7-Eleven, that bitch wouldn't be showing up there. Yeah, fuck that shit. And like he wanted me to be happy because I was his friend, and you know, and stuff like that. But like, dude, we were doing a show in wherever Bar A was, Belmar, New Jersey. It's like the outdoor show. I rode there with him, rode back. It's like, I want to go to something. I was like, you know, I'm sitting there. I was like the bad date. Oh, I'll just have a salad. I'll just have a glass of water. And he's like, no, I mean, he gets at me. I was like, look, I really don't have any money. He's like, get something to eat, blah, blah, blah. And he paid for my dinner, you know, just, and I was like, hey man, I'll pay it back. He's like, don't worry about it. You know, just stuff like that, you know?
So he was a regular dude, basically, just turned up to 100 when we saw him on TV.
Jack's just like most of us. Most of us in this room have been through some shit in our lives.
Yep. And
it affected us differently, you know? Yep. I mean, the guy grew up, you know, as a child watching his father trying to murder his mom.
Jesus Christ.
And imagine, you know, carrying that with you your entire life. But, you know, if you approached him, you know, just, hey man, what's up? Nothing. All right. You know, shit. Like there's like one night I was trying to think of new ring music because like me and Stevie and Nova were coming out the goofy tunes like Ghostbusters and Girls Just
right.
Fun. I was trying to think of this song, and I was like, Jack would know. I go up to him. I was like, "What's this song?" And I'm like, you know, it goes da 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 da, the Rapping Ranger. And it's like, And me and him sat there for like 20 minutes trying to figure it out. And it was Apache by Sugar Hill Gang or whatever. And we just sat there like throwing lyrics back to each other, just like, and then, you know, I think we called in a third person, and he could talk to you about anything. Like if he knew you and trusted you, he would talk about life, you know. Cool. He was just like any other dude. He just had some baggage, and you know, some people when confronted, you know, act differently. Yep. You know, there's some, you know, growing up, I went through some shit, but therapy helped me. You know, so, but you know, it is what it is.
Appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate it. Joel, you're young, hung, and great with your tongue. You got to have a good New Jack story.
Yeah, New Jack. I don't know if it's because he was giving me so many finishers and so many chair shots, and I got put through a table and a vacuum cleaner to the nuts, and like he's probably the guy that beat the hell out of me the most over time. And I don't know if it was, you know, to show appreciation for that, or if it was just, but out of the kindness of his heart, Jack was a foodie, and Jack knew that I was a foodie, and we would both be interested in what were the best places in town. And if he would go out to one for like a late lunch right before the show, if he got some good food, maybe some leftovers, doggy bag, whatever, he would bring it to the building and share it with me. Joe, I was thinking of you, man. And he would like, he'd do that. And I think something that I might not have mentioned on the show, there was one night at the Elks Lodge where I think the rib was supposed to be on me. I had never bladed. I guess I was in the company like at that point, maybe 3 years, 4 years, and I hadn't bladed. And I think Pitbull Anthony came up to me and told me, I guess, you know, as a rib, maybe like what I was going to be doing that night, and that it involved me blading. So, you know, maybe go check in with somebody, how to make the blade, this, that, and the other thing. And New Jack got wind of it. And it wound up being this thing where Jack and Anthony wind up brawling with each other through like a table and some stuff. And long story short, you remember that? And like, I guess Jack thought that it wasn't a rib and thought that it, I like Jack was taking umbrage over me, either to the best of what we knew at the time knowledge, having to blade, or me not having to blade, but being told that I did. It was bizarre and it was surreal. It honestly, not just because he passed away recently and not just because we did this episode about him, but the person who put me through the most physical torture, endurance, violence, trauma, whatever, was New Jack, and arguably perhaps the person in the locker room who at some points in time was looking out for me the most and had my best interests at heart was New Jack. So that's, if that speaks to his kindness, then it probably speaks to the dichotomy of how complex he was. But I think of it as his kindness.
Guys, I raise a glass to New Jack. Cheers to his life. And Paul, this one's for you. Go Pats! Woo!
I remember that brawl between Jack and Anthony in the locker room. I never knew what started it. I just remember them coming to like this. They were rolling around the floor and guys were going to break it up. And Shane Douglas put his arms out and goes, let them fight. Let them fight. And I'm just like, all right, what are they fighting about? And then all of a sudden it came to like a stalemate. You know, I never knew that was about that. That's crazy.
No.
Let them fight.
Let them fight. And we got the Go Pats in there too. Anthony, thank you so much. Great questions as normal. With
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's shift gears here. Tim McGoldrick, you're up and you're on with the guys from That Was Extreme.
Thanks. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Tim.
Great show again.
Thanks.
I had a question kind of specific to Beyond the Mat and sort of the iconic scene that you guys are talking about, where I don't see him as Denzel. I see him as Denzel's friend.
Yeah.
Did he ever talk to you? Because I walked out of that movie thinking that I was going to be seeing New Jack in action movies and horror movies, not like the main star, but, certainly, supporting character. Did he ever talk to you guys about, any of the opportunities he got? Because I was always surprised he didn't show up in movies. And I was wondering if you guys maybe thought that perhaps the aura around him might have frightened Hollywood off.
He never talked to me about that. And the only other time he talked to me about acting was when he got cast for Comedy Central, where they did a thing where he did a fake Scared Straight. He's like, Meanie, I'm going up New York tomorrow for Comedy Central, blah, blah, blah. And he just gave me the breakdown. I was like, it's fucking great. But other than that, not really.
Anything for you, Joel? Did he say anything to you?
Well, not so much that first and foremost, I think he would have excelled at it. And I think anything he would have done more in TV and movies than he had done outside of wrestling, he would have done great at it. We didn't talk about him doing stuff like that, except for one thing that he had already done during his ECW time was an episode of Early Edition on CBS that I think Tommy and Raven, if I'm right about, I think it was the three of them that were in it. And I had a copy of it, I think on DVD, and I was going to burn one and get one to him. And it's sitting here, and I didn't get it to him in time. But yeah, he was very interested in getting a copy of that. So I'm sure that he was really proud of that. I remember rewatching it, either at the time that I burned it or maybe sometime in the last few years since it originally aired. And I remember saying to myself, wow, I think this is the kind of thing that if he would have really dipped both feet in the water, I think he would have gravitated towards it, and he would have done real well with it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you taking the time to answer my question.
Thanks for being here.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Now, guys, listen, I have to ask a question. This has nothing to do with the New Jack episode. This has something to do with fan etiquette at wrestling events.
Okay.
And just out of curiosity, if there was about a 6'4" guy, maybe my size, maybe my height, and again, this is not me, but it was in the third row, and behind this gentleman was a lot of other people, including kids and children with their parents, their spouses, everybody's there. And this fan says, listen, I paid for this ticket. I will stand up the entire time. I don't give a shit. What is your thought on that? Is it the fans' responsibility? Should they sit down, or should they feel that entitlement that they can stand up and they can block whoever the hell they want, and the fans just has to deal with it because they didn't buy a more expensive ticket? Where are you guys at on that?
I don't know. I would think if it's like an open seating thing and the guy purposely chose to stand in front of the shortest person, that I think. But then again, I was in a similar situation. I went to see a concert, and this fucking 7-foot fucking dude stood like right in front of me, and he eclipsed me, and I'm like a big dude. So I was just like, I can see where the person's getting hot, but I can also see the person who bought the ticket going, I'll sit or whatever. Hey man, can you just sit on the armrest so I can see over your shoulder? I don't know. That's interesting.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, let's hear.
I could see somebody like me buy a handful of hot dogs and some nacho cheese sauce and just kind of pitch them at the guy and lob them into his clothing.
Yes,
and as he's telling me, that I shouldn't be doing that and it's assault and everything else, me tell him, well, I'm trying to throw them behind me or to my side, and I shouldn't be penalized for the fact that my aim is so poor. If you don't like it, maybe you should have bought a better ticket, and just keep peppering him with these hot dogs that are dipped in the nacho cheese sauce. That's probably what I would do.
I love it.
Or you can just get some Visine and put it in their beer and then watch them run off as they get explosive diarrhea.
Love that one too. What do you think? What do you think, Josh?
I think they bought a seat.
They bought the seat, right? So they're third row, but everybody 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they can't see. At least.
Well, here's the thing that you're saying they're standing though, right?
This guy's standing tall and proud, and he's not trying to tell everybody about it
sit
either.
the fuck down.
All right, sit the fuck down.
Here's the thing: you sit down. If he's that tall of a guy, then he's probably still obstructing someone's view. And in that case, hey, it is what it is. He's just a tall guy. This was the plan for him, I suppose. But bad luck of the draw. But the problem is, if you're standing the whole time, well, dude, go stand somewhere else. Go stand in the aisle. Go stand. You didn't need to buy a seat. The seat is for you to sit on. Now, there are some times where you can get up. And then there's a whole other side of it with signs. Because I grew up going, I remember going to the Attitude Era. You went to Raw with the expectation that you were not actually going to see anything in the ring because there were going to be signs everywhere. And I remember a few years back where I was like, I haven't been to a live show in forever. So I went and brought some signs to, cause the hard cam was facing me. I brought some signs to represent this new upstart podcast that I've become a fan of called Something to Wrestle. And I was holding signs that said things like, well, and things like that. And people kept yelling at me to put my signs down. And eventually I did, but I was like, hey, I'm trying to, get in the good graces of Conrad Thompson. So,
that's right. Well, listen, with all that said, these were great, excellent answers. And I want to introduce to you the next guy that has a question. He is a 6'4" guy that I became fast friends with this weekend. He's a great top guy. I got to sit right beside him at Dynamite, and man, did I have a lot of fun. And that guy is James Elquerai. James, you're on with That Was Extreme. How you doing, my friend? Are you sitting down, by the way?
I actually am sitting down because there's so many people behind me. You know, I bought this seat, you know.
So what happened here, James?
I was like a child again, man. This shit's real. It's fun to me, you know.
So you were just jumping up, but were you standing the whole time?
I would say staying up. Upon further review, once I've got home and collected myself, save it for the spots. You know what I mean? But I was in it, man. I was in it. Sting. Last time I went to see Sting, it was a fucking movie match. So I made sure I was seeing this one.
James,
so, yeah.
I love you. I had so much fun sitting beside you, and man, there was heat. He was yelling at the security guy. The security guy was yelling at him. I just sat there like, oh dear baby Jesus, please don't let anybody get hurt. Don't have him throw anything at me. James, what are you doing? And he keeps yelling, I'm sorry, I paid for this seat. I mean, it was James unplugged going crazy. And I told him the next Zoom chat.
Representation of myself. I apologize.
It's fun. This is good stuff.
Very poor representation, but man, I was in it. Like, and I felt like they were trying to take away my happiness, so I got really defensive. And stepping back, probably a little much, you know. But yeah.
No. Listen, man, don't apologize. When you're a jet all the way, and when you're a top guy, it's not just ad-free shows; it carries over to life.
Exactly.
I love it.
Did you yell at some point, I'm a top guy?
No, I don't think so, but I was very hoarse. I'm still hoarse, actually.
Okay. No, I'm saying like when people are like, sit down, did you turn around? Hey, I'm a top guy.
I'm not going to go there. No, this is recorded.
No, James, it was fun, man. You were good. Don't back down. You knew I had to have some fun with you once I got on the next.
I knew that this was
Are you sitting down now?
Yeah.
Thank you. Can you please stay there?
Guess what section I was in, you know, for the pay-per-view? Guess who was around me?
Who?
Oh, surprise, the people that were directly behind this Friday.
Oh my God. You're kidding me.
Not joking. I walked up, I heard their voice, and I go, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So I walked kind of by the concession stand, like, man, you gotta be right tonight, you know, you gotta be good. And then I went there, I was very respectful, and I even heard them like, I wonder why he's so different tonight. I was like, yeah. But then I ended up moving down 2 rows so that way I could stand up in peace.
Well, good stuff, man. Listen, I want to get to your question. I know you have a question for these guys, so let's get back to that.
Well, my main thing was I really popped for the 2 CDs on the music and how he timed up the beat, and he kept switching back and forth. Like, that got me because, you know, I got 2 turntables and a microphone. You know what I'm saying? That's old school shit. But and then it also made me think about they played the music like his whole match. You know, is he going to be like the last person that gets that type of treatment where I think it was Joel that said, like, you know, they're playing a score, but me and my friends just be like, yeah, man, they're playing a soundtrack while he's beating that dude's ass, you know? So is he going to get is he going to be the last wrestler to get that type of treatment like that?
So I actually have a quick comment on that. And it occurred to me while I was watching the Stadium Stampede, and there was the scene with FTR and Santana and Ortiz. I think that's what I'm thinking of, where they were just they were playing music the whole time, where they changed the music, and of course it was Conan there, and, you know, spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched it, but there was like part of me that was wondering, like, hey, was that a little like homage to New Jack, the fact that they had them just put on this kind of, you know, heavier music and then just fight with the music just going the whole time. And maybe it's just a coincidence and that's all it was because of the location where they were. But there was this little part of me that was like, man, I wonder if that was supposed to be like a little shout out. So I'd be curious to ask whoever was involved with all that. But guys, what do you think as far as?
Yeah, well, it also helps that he had a badass song, you know. There's certain songs I can't see, you know, people getting pumped up to an entire fight scene, live action fight scene, you know, of like somebody's doing ABBA's Dancing Queen or something. I don't know.
Hey,
you know,
watch your mouth. That is.
Sorry.
That's his jam.
Yeah, but more than likely, yeah, I think Jack will probably be the last.
I think anybody who does it, well, I mean, look, it's been a while, but anyone who does it, I feel like it's going to be compared to that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
but,
like from there on out, it's kind of the staple. And now, they're doing that New Jack Day where they play the whole song. You know, like all that. I agree with that.
All right. Anything else, James?
That's it. Just thank you for the time. I appreciate the listening to Stand Up Gate, I guess. But
that's called. I gave you a shout out, man. That's all it was. That was good stuff.
Hey, this is my favorite Zoom for real. It's it's the one that we can all just hang loose, and it's ECW, baby.
Yeah,
so,
thanks, man.
Next time you go to a show, you got to load up on like cabbage the night before and just get all the gassy foods, and they'll shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit by him that night. Listen, thank you, James.
I stopped the concert with a fart. So
I'm sure you did.
I did. For shoot.
All right. Well, hey, Josh Rosenbaum would have been up next. He couldn't. He can't chime in right now. So I'm going to move to a question where I was asked in the chat for Brad Stanton, and he said, "Did any of the guys talk to New Jack about his time in Smoky Mountain, especially the heat that he got?" That they got really fueled by racism, how that personally affected him. Was he personally affected by all that stuff that happened down in Smoky Mountain? Did he ever talk to you guys about any of that?
Nah, actually, the first time I met Jack was at a Smoky Mountain show. A dude I trained with, they needed a referee, and Al was with Smokey, and he sent this kid down, and I went for the ride and met Jack, and it was kind of cool to watch how Smokey operated, but did we talk about it? Not really. I mean, I had heard most of his stories before that anyway. Between like shoot interviews and stuff. Well,
Sure.
not shoot interviews, but just things in general. But nah, we never really talked about Smokey.
Joe, what about you? Did you ever have any conversations with him on the Smoky Mountain experience?
No, same thing. It didn't really come up.
Okay.
I wish there's a lot of things I wish, right? I don't know if that's where Meanie was just. I think we were thinking about the same thing at the same time. Is that you gotta if you want to pick somebody's brain. Meanie had a tweet about this. He's like, if you can find somebody who's got some knowledge because they've been around that you don't have, make sure you pick their brain because it's well worth it. And to tie that in, and with Jack, I mean, there are so many things now that I wish I would have asked him about, but you never know at the time, that you don't have the time, for lack of a better way to spin it. But.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for sharing. Did that answer your question? Oh, actually, I asked that question, didn't I? Hello. Wake up, Paul. Pull your head.
Oh, did that answer your question?
Yeah, Brad, thanks for the question. Hope you enjoyed it on the recording. All right, let's keep it moving. Up next, Michael Amend. Michael, you're good to go, man.
What up?
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Nice shirt.
Doing well. Yeah, looking at that shirt, man.
So, buddy.
Feeling really good.
Came in perfect timing. Got it in late last week before I went to Double or Nothing. So.
Did you wear it at Double or Nothing?
No, because I didn't want to die from heat stroke because it was 95 degrees and wearing a black shirt's a bad idea.
Hey, you know what? I guess there's some people who are committed to the podcast and some people who aren't, and that's fine. No, that's understandable.
I'll tell you, I was at New Japan ROH at Madison Square Garden, and it almost brought a tear to my eye when I saw that somebody there who came over and noticed that I was there, and they said hey to me. Somebody there was wearing a well quintessential Stud Muffin t-shirt. Well, in the style of Daniel Bryan's Yes. And those, just for informational purposes only, and because I've already started the story, just to put a quick bow on it, in case you're wondering, those are the same t-shirts that you would find if you hoped to procure one at prowrestlingtees.com/Joel Gertner, because this is ad-free shows. Where that wasn't an ad, that was infotorial, just to let you know. Hashtag not an ad.
I'm pretty sure there's a hashtag not an ad shirt available now at prowrestlingtees.com/that.
There is now.
Which is also not an ad.
No.
It's a conversational piece.
You guys know we're talking about shirts. So, Michael, do you have a question?
I do. You all talked on the podcast about a little bit about Dark Side of the Ring, and is there anything that obviously Dark Side of the Ring does a great job, but was there anything that you all felt like was maybe misrepresented, taken to a level that was not entirely true? As you know, you all were there with New Jack and ECW.
Yeah, definitely the mass transit thing. He wasn't sought after. They didn't contact him to come to the show. He just showed up. He just showed the fuck up. And they're like, oh, highly. I don't know if they said highly, but they're showing footage of mass transit doing it on an indie show, saying he was invited to ECW, which was bullshit because nobody knew who he was. He just showed up, with two, smaller guys, and everything happened. That's the only part of really the show I took umbrage with. I was like, yeah, that's bullshit. But other than that, everything else to me, at least to me, was spot on.
I feel like y'all put a real good positive spin on him. It seemed to me to be a much different perspective than Dark Side of the Ring. I really appreciate listening to it today.
Oh, thank you. Jack, the whole Jack thing. I mean, besides the fact that he was a great friend to us, and we had a special bond because, ECW or wrestling in general, but ECW specifically, I think of all these different movies. I think of Slapshot. I think of Major League, but then I also think of Band of Brothers, where a group of people went through some shit together, and he was a brother, just because we went through a lot of shit together. So, and just to be able to share, and there's so much more we could have shared, but just it could have been a couple episodes, but just to try to share our thoughts and memories of Jack was important.
Well, another good episode. I appreciate you guys as always.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
All right, thank you, Michael. We have
Paul. Did that answer your question?
Yes, that answered my question.
Hey, I just wanted to. This is just a couple of a bunch of guys talking, but I was just going on my phone and like checking out this.
Oh my god, I was waiting.
It's pretty cool. Available at prowrestlingtees.com/that was extreme. Not an ad, but I also realized that that's not for everybody. So I just want to make sure everybody knows a lot came out of the last Zoom. A lot of ideas, including this one.
Oh, it's a shirt.
So it is now a shirt.
Say it for those listening on audio.
Fuck free shows.
Free shows.
And then there was also this one. Now you'd really have to zoom in to read the.
No pun intended.
Lucky, yeah, right. Yeah. Lucky we're on Zoom.
Yeah, you'd really. But this one here. At first, this looks like a videotape. It actually says, written on there, that was Extreme Warfare Volume 2. The night we talked about the night Kimono Wanalea danced atop the ECW arena. So that is a shirt also available at prowrestlingtees.com/that was extreme. I just,
Is there a watch along option on the Mind of the Meaty Patreon page for you to, the night we can watch that event together as a Patreon?
Ooh, you mean over at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie? Yeah, that's not an ad. You brought it up. Yeah. No, I think that's definitely, I would watch along would you do that? I'd watch along.
Yeah.
And then everyone can watch us. So it's like a watch along watching us.
It would be an amazing experience.
Yeah, they can watch us watch that.
Yeah.
Like how I want to start a channel of me doing reaction videos to other people's reaction videos.
There you go.
Like those two brothers that react to music that they haven't heard before. What if you could do a reaction video to their reactions? Like, look at these guys reacting.
Yeah. I'm all in.
There we go. I love the shirts. The first one was not an ad for those listening. That was the graphic on that one, right, Josh?
Yeah. Not an ad.
Not an ad, because this is ad free, so not an ad.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. RJ Krasinski, you're on with the boys from That Was Extreme. What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
Ollie, what's going on, guys?
Hey, RJ, is it your birthday?
Yes, it is.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And he's
Hey,
spending it with
James in
us.
the chat just put over Meanie's idea and said we should do reacting to reacting as like the next T-shirt.
Reacting to reacting. All right.
Don't mind me. I'm just reacting to you reacting.
The
And this is
birthday
me
boy.
Do you reading?
Just writing that down. Okay. But, yes, the birthday boy.
How about Extreme Championship reacting?
Adam Arpin, what was the mashed potato line? You just put it in the chat. Where's the shirt paying homage to Joel's mashed potatoes line from last month? Do you remember that, Joel? I think I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys.
ECW was that kind of party, like sticking a dick in the mashed potatoes.
We had a top gal that joined. I think she'll never be back after that line. So. Good shit. RJ, sorry, it's your birthday and you're spending it with all of us. So what's going on, man?
Sorry.
Well, I get to stare at all four of you guys, so I'm happy as can be.
Oh,
well, maybe I don't know. That went downhill fast. So New Jack obviously is known for the mass transit incident.
Yeah.
You think he's really, his historical career is going to be known? You ever think he's going to be known for a lot of his Smoky Mountain stuff? He did really great stuff over there.
I would hope so, because I mean, yeah, he did. New Jack did controversial stuff, but he also, it was almost like a test study where he held up the mirror to a lot of people in the audience at Smoky Mountain. Mm-hmm. It was a study in human behavior, the way he did and how people reacted. So, unfortunately, he'll be known for the mass incident just the way I'll be known for the JBL incident, pretty much. What
happened with JBL?
Yeah.
Thumb wrestled. I
can't tell you how many times I've gone back and rewound and watched that.
Yeah.
Just because it was real. I mean, that was as real as it gets, I guess, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Unreal.
But, there's certain incidents in people's lives where, the people who are involved are over it and past it, but people still have a fascination about it, and people will always, will go, well, not one night with mass transit, when there was so much more to his character and stuff he did, but it's unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah, I implore a lot of people, anybody in the chat, even top guys, top gals, or Patreon, if they want to go watch that stuff, to go watch that stuff in Smoky Mountain, because that's some definitely good stuff over there.
Yeah.
Well, RJ, like you're saying, if you think, do we think people will remember him for that stuff? I think it depends on who the people are, because I think if you're somebody who really wants to know about the history of wrestling and the history of each individual athlete, then yeah, you're going to dig a little deeper. If you want to say, hey, let me learn about this New Jack guy, right? Then, because the reality is this was 20 years ago when he was doing, when he was in his prime in ECW. So you might have a lot of people who aren't familiar with him for anything other than that. And if they really want to take the time, then I think they'll go back. But otherwise, I think in general, everybody's kind of, the last thing we've seen of them in a big way is how they're going to be remembered. And in this, look at a guy like, just like an example would be like Triple H, right? He did a ton of stuff in his Hunter Hearst Helmsley days. They got a ton of decent matches and intercontinental title runs. Nobody looks at like when they go back and let's look at early Triple H. That's already like 4 years into his run as in the WWF. So people kind of, they're only going to go further back to learn about a character if they really want to. And I think they should. I think it's a great point what you're telling everybody to do that, because he did do incredible stuff there that I didn't even see until the last few years, but he did some awesome stuff in Smoky Mountain. But yeah, I think a lot of people will remember him mostly for his diving off of things in ECW. I think even more so than the mass transit thing. Like that'll always be there. But as a fan, someone who grew up as a fan of New Jack, the mass transit thing was like, that's that. Oh, and there was also this other time. But for me, it's the diving off things and the bringing the trash can to the ring and the music playing. That I actually remember more, and I would bring that up more frequently, I think, than I would even the mass transit incident.
Right. Excellent. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Happy
nothing
birthday.
like the gangsters versus the eliminators, the music, the run-ins. Just like I love DCW because it would be one tag team match and it would turn into multiple matches. The whole card just evolved out of one match or something. Just great times, and the music, you couldn't beat it.
It was kind of like that scene in Goodfellas when they're introducing all the characters and he's walking through the club and there's Jimmy 2 times. I'm going to go get the papers. Go get the papers. You know, just it's like that. You know, the one steady cam shot through the whole club and you see the whole cast of characters kind of thing. That's kind of like how some ECW segments were designed.
Yeah. Nah, good stuff. All right, RJ, thank you so much. Appreciate the questions.
You, buddy. Happy birthday.
That's right. Happy birthday from the guys. Matt M. Matt, you're on with the guys here. That was extreme.
What up?
Hey guys. I really just wanted to say hi. This is my first time participating with you guys.
Hey.
I have listened to the other episodes and they're great. And I wanted to join this time. I was a big fan of ECW in the heyday there. And I did listen to the New Jack episode today, and I just wanted to say to Meanie that I popped real hard when you said when Mass Transit was looking for requesting the blade job, he said, well, you know, his forehead was a brochure for how that might turn out. So, I thought that was pretty hilarious and obviously very accurate. And you know, I'm glad I got to hear that story, you know, from you guys in a long form way. So that's really it. I just want to say hello and thanks, and that's it.
Oh, thank you very much. It's like if you go to a tattoo artist, look at their tattoos. You know, just I think I'll go somewhere else. You know, but
Thanks,
thank you so much, man.
Listen, and like you said, never let ask someone else to bleed you, right?
Never.
I think that was the
You know your own you know your pain tolerance, you know?
Right.
Mine's a paper cut. That's it.
And then too, the other thing that to end that story, really close the loop, was you were right there, Meanie, when the dad runs back in.
I watched that thing from beginning to end in real time. And because I was like, man, this is gonna be fucking ugly, you know, just because I knew that he had from everybody, you know, just that short time he was there between lighting up a cigarette next to Taz, you know, wanting to be called Ralph Cramden, and then, you know, trying to get these 2 other guys who weren't even booked on the shows, you know, in a match with New Jack and the Dudleys, and just holy shit, it was like the blueprint of what not to do. You know, it's one thing if you do that on one show.
Mm-hmm.
But he did things you could have done on multiple shows in like a 2 hours fucking window. It's like, holy shit. It's like OJ Simpson in Naked Gun. You know, he steps in the wet paint and then he falls into a bear trap, and then he steps on he slams his hand in the window, and then he flips overboard. You know, all these different things that could have went wrong for this kid went wrong. It was all self-inflicted.
I also like the analogy that you shared on the about him just doing whatever he wanted. You talked about Bruiser Brody, and then him and Sabu, and not many of those guys around at all that just didn't give a shit. Whatever, you know, whatever WWE or this is how you should act if you want to get here or get there. Screw that. I'm going to be me and not care and be the outlaw. I think that was the term you used.
And he was one of the last outlaws, and right now. Sabu's like the last of the Mohicans as far as outlaws. It's just doing whatever. Vince wanted Sabu to do promos. They went, fuck you, I ain't doing no promos. I know my character. I gotta work past WWE. You know, I gotta protect my character. So Sabu said, fuck it, I ain't doing no fucking promos. So same with New Jack. I mean, New Jack did want to work in WWE eventually, but you know, there was that whole issue of him still having an outstanding arrest warrant in New York that prevented that. But again, when it came to Indies, he worked on his terms, his payday, and nobody really told him what to do. You can suggest, but you know.
Listen, Matt M., first of all, thank you so much for joining. You said this was your first That Was Extreme post show, so I wanted to give you a shout out and say welcome, and hopefully you can join us again each and every month. All right. I think he's already on. Yes, sir.
Thank
Hey,
you.
hey, Adam Arpin, would you mind jumping in and kind of sharing? You were living in the Massachusetts area back then. Would you mind sharing what you put in the chat with us?
Where are we at?
I just said when the whole mass transit incident occurred, it was like a couple weeks that it was off and on the Fox 25 News. Will they arrest him? Won't they arrest him? Or charges coming? It was just crazy. You've never seen anything like it with a wrestler just constantly on the local news with something like that.
That's crazy. Yeah, I wasn't even aware of that. So
yeah,
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no, good stuff there. And but again, that it felt different. He felt different. He was different. He broke barriers. You were mentioning that too on the show. But also what I really liked is you started to close down. You really humanized him for us. Even Joel, I think about you talking about, he was a foodie, and if he went out, he would bring me the leftovers and things like that. Those are the stories you don't hear on Dark Side of the Ring, or you haven't heard on any other expose on New Jack. And so I really appreciate you guys being willing to share some of that stuff with us too, because he was a real man that's, as you said, born into an unbelievable situation, tried to do his best with his life and still stay true to himself.
Yeah.
But then also he had a heart too. He probably didn't see a whole ton of it, at least us as fans, but you guys got to. So that was cool to hear about that.
He would walk up to where in ECW is like my early time in ECW. Meanie, I got heat with you. Oh shit, what'd I do now, Jack? My daughter came up to me and said, "Daddy, I want something for show and tell." He goes, "That ain't nothing. I'll give it. What do you want, a match? You want a t-shirt?" He's like, she goes, "No, I want Blue Meanie." He went, "That motherfucker." His daughter chose me for his little 6-year-old daughter chose me for show and tell over New Jack. So I was just like, "Please, Mr. Jack, take my shirt.
Please don't hurt me."
Yeah,
that's funny.
I'll bite the pillow.
Oh, okay. Well, this just turned into a very.
I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. I don't know.
All right, good stuff. Anthony Pyers, you're back on. I know you had some follow-up questions.
I can't believe Paulie B would actually give me the opportunity to talk again. 3 things. Number 1, let me put to bed the mass transit thing. F Eric Kulas, F mass transit, F his entire family. Number 2, the last time that ECW went to the IEBW hall, I was lucky enough to have front row seats because, yes, I paid the extra $10 for a front row seat.
That was a great building, by the way. It was a great building.
Oh, I loved it. It was New Jack and Spike Dudley against the Dudleys against Balls and Axel in a 3-way. Of course, shockingly, the action spilled to the outside. New Jack walks outside, tells me to give him my MFing chair. So, of course, I give him my chair because I was terrified. The guy slams Devon Dudley, poor bastard, over the head with the chair. And then, I swear to God, New Jack then unfolds the chair and sets me back up to sit on it. My question to you guys is there any funny little house show stories that you have maybe about New Jack, which is crazy, but yet so New Jack?
You just brought up Devon, and I was like, oh my God. So one time, I guess there was a show in New York, and instead of getting a hotel room, New Jack just crashed on Devon's couch. And, he's sleeping with his back to the room, facing the couch. And one of Devon's little kids gets up, go use the bathroom, and goes up and he goes over to him and goes, "Hey, daddy, daddy, daddy." He's tapping New Jack, not knowing it's not Devon. "Daddy, daddy, daddy." And New Jack rolls around, turns over. He goes, "You're not daddy. You're not daddy," and runs in the room and hides because, there's this strange man sleeping on his couch who happened to be New Jack. So another, I don't want to step on Joel's toes. Do you have another story, Joel? You have a story? You're muted. There you go.
No, not one that I can think of.
There was, were you there in Monaco when they all dropped that? They all did acid, LSD.
That night, I was there that night. Yeah, I was an inactive part of that, just an onlooker. But yeah,
I saw Sandman standing there like this. Sandman, what's up? I'm on my 3rd hit of acid. So Sandman and New Jack and whoever else was dropping LSD before their match. And, Sabu had this like little dog, real little dog. And Jack was so high, he thought Sabu's dog was a lizard. And he's going, and there was a commercial at that time where you hear, here, lizard, lizard, lizard. And New Jack's chasing Sabu's dog around going, here, lizard, 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 lizard. So they're having their match. New Jack gets on the mic and just randomly starts going, here, lizard, 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 lizard. And the crowd's like, what the fuck is going on? And then I think Paul grabbed the mic from him or somebody. Mike.
And Joel, by the way, next month, I want an exclusive adfreeshows.com exclusive Joel Gertner intro limerick. Yeah, that's some serious. I showed my 11-year-old nephew a Joel Gertner best of video that I made on my VHS.
11-year-old, you said?
11, you got. Come
I
on,
am
Joel.
not responsible for their future criminal record.
Oh, the guy, the kid, I am that kid's hero, and thanks to you, Joel, you've made it possible. Josh, Meanie, and Joel, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys so much for being here.
Oh,
You're amazing. I love you.
Thank you, dude.
Okay,
and if that
appreciate
kid,
you.
honestly and seriously, if that kid needs shrink copays, don't look to me.
I'm responsible for the manhood of my 11-year-old nephew. It's not that easy, but I'm doing my best, and Joel Gertner is making it possible.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I just want to point out that Anthony's entire thing began with just full out F-bombs towards the deceased.
Yeah.
But then when talking about New Jack taking the chair, told me to take that MFing chair. I just want to point that out because that really stood out to me.
I like to edit myself. I know this is going to be shown. This is going to be shown on demand. I don't want people to think I'm I have a foul mouth, but
only when
I'll say it.
Speaking of
fucking sophisticated.
Yeah.
Screw the cool ass family. F them.
Yes.
Wow.
So at some point we'll have to have a conversation. I'd love to know more about your interactions with them, because that definitely
offline. I'd be glad to talk to you offline about it.
RKO out of nowhere from Anthony Pyers. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
You showing your 11-year-old Joel Gertner promos is like, when a kid stumbles on his dad's Playboy stash, probably. It's just like,
he's my nephew. You think I haven't shown him Playboy yet? My God, I gotta train this boy in the realm of me.
You're responsible for his manhood.
My wife would not let me do this with our sons, but I have full control over my nephew's manhood. It's my responsibility. And Joel, thank you for being a part of that.
You got it, brother.
Hon, why did Anthony buy our our son a wool glove? I don't get it.
Oh my.
I know he's not through puberty yet, but my goodness, he learned the birds and the bees from Joel Gertner, essentially.
Asgard on it. What?
Yeah. Putting it in her till it's hurting her. What? We
heard that kid's gonna like lollipops in his mouth and butter in his ass by age 13. He's off to a fine start.
So hey, he's so big it's hard to keep from hurting her. Gertner.
Awesome.
Love it. Tim McGoldrick, can you steer us back? Can you bring us back in, man?
I don't know if I can follow that up. I now feel a lot better about showing my 8-year-old son Major League last week. So we'll get the second Major League reference.
We're all winning Dad of the Year here tonight.
I had to show him where the John Moxley theme music came from so he could understand. So but
still don't understand why it's being used for John Moxley, but
yeah, it's but it's a great callback to a great movie. So
well, and I think that there was a deathmatch wrestler in Japan who used it too. I think Onita used to use that song.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You'd think that somebody else would have it.
I think it's a nod to Onita, maybe.
It could be.
Yeah,
but I actually
I need to listen to a different song for him.
By the way, the name of that band is called X.
X, yeah.
Which Dave Grohl and his daughter just did a cover of one of their songs, which is pretty cool, called Nausea. Useless knowledge.
I love the music knowledge, Blue Meanie. Love it.
It's not useless.
Yeah.
Useful knowledge.
I had a follow-up question because interestingly enough, I didn't grow up in Massachusetts, but I live here now. And I actually got an opportunity to meet New Jack at a big time wrestling event about 1.5 years ago, right before the pandemic. And to your point, Josh, I was the guy walking in there being like, oh, we're gonna get to meet New Jack, great entrance, the theme music, the trash can, jumping off stuff. I completely didn't even think of the mass transit. And he wasn't his normal self, like engaging, which was fine. But after his match that night, he had a quick match. He gave a promo that was kind of somber, thanking everybody for coming out. And I realized, we were in Lynn, Massachusetts, which is right next to Revere, and thanking everybody for supporting him. So I guess my question is, was he, after that whole thing happened, obviously, was he kind of, when you guys would go back to Massachusetts, especially in that area, did he have any kind of, was he nervous about it, or?
Once he beat the case, I think he was okay. Of course you're nervous when and like in his words, they try to charge me for one thing, but they worded it 5 different ways, and they're really gunning for him. But once the judge said, so let me get this straight. You asked him to cut you? Yes. Then why is this in my courtroom? Once he realized he was in the clear, he was pretty, he was his normal self.
Yeah, I was just curious, but thank you again for answering another question.
Yeah, the only time he was really, like I said, he had that arrest warrant in New York, and when Extreme Reunion was running a show there, he was doing an unadvertised run-in, and the funny thing is, he was in an alleyway waiting for his cue, and Mrs. Meanie, my Tracy, went out to smoke a cigarette, and she went to go back in. She saw him. She went, "Who's there?" And she goes, "It's me, Mr. Jack." And she had a mohawk at the time. He's like, "Come here." And he puts in her hair like, "Don't fucking tell anybody I'm back here. I'll fucking kill you." And she laughs, and he goes to walk away, and he goes, "Hold on, come here." And runs back, and right where her bald head was, he goes, and runs off. He gave her like a little noogie and ran off. But that's the only time he really had trepidation was, or like, he was cautious about going somewhere, was that time it couldn't be known he was going to be in New York City.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I think somebody else has a question. I know we're right at the top of the hour, so I don't want to take up any more time. But thanks, guys.
I want to give you a full answer, too. I feel like if I don't give a proper answer, I feel like I'm cheating you.
Well, I got the song recommendation as well. So just
go.
the few music drops, you and I kind of align on a lot of music. So that's awesome.
Nice.
I love music.
Thank you.
Music's kept me sane.
Hey, I don't know if Joshua Odom has a question or not, but I want to just shout out his number one.
Amazing.
What an incredible t-shirt.
Yes.
Awesome.
That you're wearing right there. For those who aren't familiar with that, that is a Shernoff vodka t-shirt right there.
Listen, can Josh unmute himself? That way he comes up on the video when this is produced later. We got to see that. So you have to talk.
Yeah.
There you go.
Here.
Speak up, pal.
Let's see that.
Sorry,
stand up and talk and stand so that it shows up in the video.
I don't want to be looped into stand-up gate. That was a very controversial thing at the top of the show.
Well, I believe it's my head that's right behind you, so I'm okay with it. Yeah, that's a nice shirt right there. Premium Broadcasting, I believe it says.
But yeah, it didn't come with a bottle of vodka like I thought it was going to. I was confused. But
no,
hey,
a little bottle of seltzer.
He's like a virtual billboard for everything.
I love this. Look at it. He's got the 3. He disappeared when we were talking about I noticed this when we were talking about the not an ad shirt and the fuck free shows and all that. He disappeared and came back with all of them.
Of course,
on the screen.
He's like the kid that sat in the front row of class. He's like the best dude in class. He's unbelievable.
No, I love it. I love it.
Just want to say a lot of time in a Navy lab.
Hey, all kidding aside, though, thank you very much for buying that shirt. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you to everybody who supports us, man. It's humbling because you have your choice of there's so much good content on ad-free shows, and there's so much merchandise. So the fact that you guys went into your pocket and a time like this with the pandemic and all that stuff, and I know everything's a little bit tight, some people with the budgeting themselves, but the fact that you guys went out and bought shirts and supported us really means the world.
I noticed a lot of people are buying cameos of me lately. Thank you so much for not to advertise. I mean, doesn't have to be not to do an ad for Cameo. I mean, because I'm on Celeb VM too. But thank you though.
Listen, what I found with the ad-free shows family, there's a ton of content. You guys said it, it's flooding, up every day, 10, 15, whatever the post amount is. But the guys on ad-free shows, the ones that buy in, that, you'll see it, they support it with the t-shirts. And this one, again, like you said, there's multiple guys on here now that are supporting the show. And I think it speaks volumes to what you guys share, what you talk about with all of us, and even this interaction. So, hey, kudos to all of you for putting out some great content for us.
Thanks for putting out.
We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
That's the moral is thanks for putting out.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. We love Joel Gertner. I need to send my wife to you. All right, here we go. At least for a little bit. At least
send her back.
As soon as I said it, as soon as it escaped the lips, I'm like, what did you just say, Bromwell? All right. With that, the last question to Novius Mac. You're bringing us home tonight, big guy.
Take it. Oh, man. I appreciate it. Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Hey, how are you?
Dude.
Good.
Oh, well, I'm getting ready to pull over because I think it's going to be kind of a little, I got to get focused. And I got my daughter in the car, so I don't want to be driving when doing this. So give me one
Watch
second.
my language.
How much has she heard?
Oh, she's on her Among Us or Roblox, one of those games she's doing.
Oh, okay. Now she's on yeah. When my kids are playing something like that, they, no matter how many times I call their name, don't seem to hear me. So
Yeah.
Hey, while you're out,
I'll say something about
milk.
All right. So, real quick, this is my first time with you guys, and so I want to thank you guys for everything you guys did for us back in those good old wrestling days. Things you're doing now, I have not had. I got a chance to get on here a couple of times, but I just been kind of like sitting back because I didn't really have anything to really ask, and so I seen that a lot of people wanted to ask questions. I'm like, go ahead. I'm just gonna observe, but I did want to touch on this. I did catch ECW towards the end of it, the end of you guys' run. I went to like 98, 99, the 2000 era. That's when I really started watching it because those videos we were making, the homemade videos, kept being popped up on Raw. Like, don't try this at home. And I kind of felt like, I'm just imitating ECW, but I always been a fan of you guys, especially the Blue World Order. I mean, that thing was amazing. Like, any version of the World Order was awesome. I wanted, no worries. But I did have a question. So as far as New Jack goes, I looked at some of his work, and I mean, the guy was amazing. I mean, listen to you guys giving testimony about him. When was the last time you guys actually all hung out? Because I know you guys are such a tight knit group, being at that little, well, not little. The promotion was small enough to where you guys were more compact, more personal. So I just want to know when was the last time you actually guys got together.
It might have been at the ECW. For me, it might have been at the ECW Arena. There's a series of conventions here called Icons, which is really right before Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore show. And Jack might have been at that. But last time I talked to Jack was we were DMing each other on Twitter right at the beginning of the apocalypse, because I forget what he wanted to hook up with me on maybe doing a virtual signing together, but I was already doing one or something like that. But we would just, DM back and forth and stuff like that. And, he thanked me for doing the intro to his book and stuff like that. But, yeah, as far as hanging out, it might have been Icons.
Okay. Because, I just think that, life is so precious these days, especially with everything going on. Lost a lot of family members within 2 years. And like my biggest thing is, I got to hang out with a lot of these fellow ad-free shows guys this past weekend at Double or Nothing. Even got to hang out with Paulie. So when he was talking about the tall 6-foot-something guy, I'm like, you cutting the promo on your own self because that guy's like big. He made me like Matt Clinton kind of unsure of myself.
It's absurd.
I tell you what, he is. Yeah. But I just think that But one of the things I was going to make a suggestion for you guys. I don't know if it's enabled. If you guys can actually get together with, more fellow ECW alumni and just film like you guys hanging out. And I think it'd be good, give everybody each other's flowers while they're here, because you don't know when somebody's time to go. So.
No, I appreciate that. If you get a chance, not an ad, we kind of did sort of like a ECW roundtable type thing for High Spots back in the day. And
okay.
Yeah.
Which is if you go to the High Spots network, it streams on there. We did 3 seasons called, what was it called? It had something extreme in the title, just search that. But yeah, dude, there's so many times we say to each other, thank God that we didn't have fucking camera phones back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Man, thank God those walls couldn't talk or reproduce. But no,
Legends of Extreme.
Yeah, New Jack was more of a family member to me than some of my own family members. There's I got part of my family. I consider them North Korea because I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there. But yeah, I talked to New Jack more than I talked to them. So yeah, New Jack was, and all the ECW guys were family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Thank you, Hunt. Mrs. Meanie helped me out here. It's Legends of Extreme on the High Spots Network.
He also told my entire New Jack story wrong, so just completely disregard.
Love it.
I can hear everything you say. Shut up.
I'm running.
Awesome. Okay.
But yeah.
Well, again, thank you again for everything, guys, and I appreciate you giving me time to talk to him, Carlos. And wish you guys nothing but success and prosper health.
You're welcome, Denovius. Hey, thank you for joining us tonight. Please come back for our next month's Zoom in July. Guys, that's going to do it for this evening. Josh, let's do this. Let's go to Gertner, the Meanie, and every month you seem to do a real nice job hitting on everything else to close us out. So, Joel, tell us about the 69-minute eargasm and all the good stuff, what we can do. You told us about Cameo. How can we support you, man?
Denovius was right. It's most important to throw flowers at people while they're still here with us and they can smell them versus talking about people posthumously. So New Jack was part of a group chat that a lot of us, the old gang, have been in as we try to put something together that's real nice on a new social media platform that is called foreverfan.club, that is in its kind of infancy and just getting ready to launch, and maybe by the next time we convene, we'll be at liberty to discuss it some more and have some more about it to discuss. But the ECW crew, the old crew, the extreme ones, the hardcore guys and girls, all of us, we are looking to keep the legacy alive, and we're looking to do so interactively, digitally, remotely, and with unique tailored experiences, and you'll hear more about that as the year goes on. 69-minute eargasm. I did a 2-parter with TJ Wilson, Tyson Kidd. Part 1 dropped yesterday. Part 2 in the next week or so. I was also reached back out to by somebody who I reached out to, and it was interesting. They just reached out to me this afternoon. They were like, hey, by the way, so your show, the Eargasm, is it audio only? And I'd like to do it. And how soon can we record? And how soon can we get it out there? So I have a feeling that there's somebody out there who is wanting to get their message heard and has something that they would like to say. And that's going to be an awesome, awesome show that we're going to be recording this month as well. 69-minute Eargasm. On YouTube, the name of the channel is Joel Gertner. On Twitter, you can find me at Stud Muffin Says. On Instagram, I am Quintessential Stud Muffin. We did Cameo. We did Pro Wrestling Tees. That's all I got.
All right. Good stuff. Meanie, you're up next.
Pretty much. If you like what you hear on That Was Extreme, go to, you can search, I just had a brain fart and a little fart.
In that order.
Yeah, every Monday morning, Mind of the Meanie drops at 6 a.m. wherever you get your favorite podcasts. and also on youtube.com/mindofthemeanie. If you would like to support the meanie directly, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie, where you can get yourself a fine looking BWO shirt. If you would like to support Mind of the Meanie, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie. If you would like to support Josh Shernoff, go to prowrestlingtees.com/So Says Shernoff.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Leslie, I usually go, oh, you got the professional voice. Let you do it.
Well, thank you. What else did you need to plug there?
No, that's all that. Oh, we did the show. We're celebrating New Jack's life. His wife now has an official New Jack Pro Wrestling tees where the money goes 100% goes to the family. Or if you want, go to collarandelbowbrand.com and they have a special commemorative New Jack shirt. Like I said, the money goes right to his family. Also, there's a GoFundMe for the family. If you can't, like I said, money's tight in this situation. If you can't donate, just please share it. Let maybe somebody else who didn't know about it can, any amount. There's no amount that's too small. Whether it's $1 to whatever. So we're doing this episode about New Jack and celebrating his life, and I want to try to help raise awareness to help his family.
Yeah. In the next couple of days later on this week, I'm going to be making a donation. I did a scratch off lottery video. Long story short, the tickets didn't win anything, but people said that they would match up to certain amounts, or if the tickets didn't win, they'd put in certain amounts. We kind of gamified it, and we got donations from 3 different people that are going to result in $400 from the group that is going to New Jack's Memorial Fund, and in New Jack's name, $187, get it, 187, going to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in his name. That's so awesome. If you're not looking for anything to be ham-fisted, or if you're worried, what can I create that's worth putting out there? If you're looking for something to kind of run up the flagpole and piggyback and push the support on later in the week, I will be taking screenshots of the donations. I'll be making social media posts. And if you'd like, absolutely feel free to retweet those so that perhaps the amounts that come in on the back of those, listen, if we could turn that into, a couple thousand for Jack and 1,000 for St. Jude, and I'm like the Mr. Beast of that stuff. I mean, I love donating and soliciting donations. So if we could really make that happen, that would be awesome.
That's fantastic, guys. You even shared that at the end of the show. Go ahead, Josh.
No, I was just going to say, there's no way to feel more like a carny asshole than to plug your own stuff immediately following somebody plugging charitable donations. But I'll do it anyway. So follow us on social media at That Was Extreme. Really we'll just be retweeting ad free show stuff, but also follow Meanie and I over at Mind of the Meanie across all social media platforms. I am at So Says Shernoff on all social media platforms. If you'd like to play with myself in the Blue Meanie, we've got these awesome figures from Cella Toys. You can go to mindofthemeanie.com and there'll be a link right there to take you to purchase those. Meanie covered a lot of stuff already.
Josh, more often do you find yourself playing with Meanie when you play dolls? Do you find yourself more often playing with Meanie, or do you find yourself playing with yourself?
So Meanie has the open hands, but I've got the hole right there. So it kind of just becomes.
That's a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna have to unpack that off camera.
Yep.
Yeah, that's much. Yep.
I packed it off camera. So now then, if you think that I can occasionally be funny, check out my monthly show, So Says Shernoff, over at Fight TV, but also at youtube.com/So Says Shernoff. We've been all about ad-free shows last couple of months. We had Eric Bischoff on a couple months ago, and then last month had a great conversation with Jeff Jarrett. It was a lot of fun. I do a little satirical headlines in the beginning, have fun with that. But I think that's it. Yeah, that's really it. Just type So Says Shernoff into stuff and It'll bring you to something.
We're pretty uniform across all platforms.
Yes. So as I turn off Mind of the Meanie, 69-minute orgasm, and then of course that was extreme.
All right, guys, listen, great episode. Thank you so much. Really talking all things Jerome Young, and man, just New Jack was out of a different mold, right? And he was entertaining. He made it feel real to all of us, and a close friend to you guys. So thank you for sharing such a special episode. This has been another good time. Listen, make sure you support these guys. I know we have the whole bit and not an ad and all this, but really at the end of the day, the t-shirt sales and anything that you can do to help them out is greatly appreciated. I know they do. But we're going to close it down for this evening. Again, thank you for all the support for That Was Extreme. Please go out, spread the word on social media. You guys do make an impact. You don't realize that, or maybe you think, I don't have a lot of followers, but maybe someone that you follow or sees your tweet does, and then they get the bug, and it grows like that exponentially. So make sure you share all about the show. We appreciate it, guys, and we'll see you in another month for That Was Extreme. Thanks, everybody, for being here.